Satnam, offering something a little bit different today. So I'm just going to share some information. You could work it like a pick a card reading if one of these piles stands out to you. You could just pay a little bit more attention when I flip that card over. So what's happening in the world? Lots of layers, right? We've had Mercury in retrograde, which means blasts from the past have come in, or could be. And so what could be coming toward you? What energies or what shadow aspects of communication would be good for you to be aware of? We are also moving from Libra to Scorpio season. So there is a focus on connection and interconnection. And I feel like it's another shuffling in the interpersonal communication, your connections, your tribe, as well as your communication from yourself. There's been a lot of dances in the planets. I'm not going to go through all of that, but I feel like you've had a chance to really open your eyes, going through healing, just really seeing changes in yourself and the way that people are coming towards you or how you're allowing them to. So again, I felt called to share a little bit about the Fourhorsemen. So this is 4 communication styles, unhealthy communication styles. So take what feels a fit, look it up for yourself to learn a little bit more. So content. So to me, this is coming from a place of inner turmoil. The website uses the term simmering negativity, and I feel like it's this deep pain and burden within that then gets projected out in a relationship. So it's just that, like, the person that this is projected onto can't do anything right. And that the person that is doing the projecting does this thing of like making themselves seem larger than life, making themselves seem like they know everything, that they're better, and kind of building themselves up. But really internally, it's coming from a place of self-hatred, probably from some sort of pain in childhood, and the way that the way parenting or some sort of hierarchy happened in childhood, that then they're trying to override that and project onto someone else. Criticism, and this is different from a critique or sharing how you feel in a constructive way. This is similar to, building yourself, someone building themselves up and putting someone else down. But for me, this comes at more of like this little nitpicking, kind of nagging sense. It's more of a chirp than a growl, but it can be very detrimental. And being mindful, if you've had either one of these parenting styles or relationship styles, that then paying attention to your own inner critic, or at least that's how it has been for me, coming from unhealthy relationships, that then that projection of criticism, I took on that layer of thought, just from living with someone that constantly criticized and dismantled. From a narcissistic point of view, or from that being in that empath narcissism relationship, it's that building someone up, that they're great, and then once I've caught them, start to pick at them and bring them down. I do hope you can hear the sound of the rain. It's so beautiful this morning. So again, I feel like this comes from an internal, someone who's doing the criticism. It's coming from their own inner critic, probably putting themselves down for not being perfect, that then they flip that on someone else. Again, it could be conscious, could be unconscious. All right, defensiveness, speaking of flip. And for me, this is that someone just flipping stuff. Oh, it bothers me so much. It's kind of a type of mind game on the person that's receiving it. But if you can see through it, you have to let go of the anger. or at least maybe I'm speaking for myself. It's that person not saying I'm sorry, not saying, yeah, I did that wrong. It's not waving the hand to say, take accountability, but flipping it on the other person in some way, misconstruing, just flipping is the best way I can describe defensiveness. And, stonewalling is a kind of a defensive nature. It's just in a different degree. Stonewalling, if you've been in an abusive relationship or been in an unhealthy, family ties where things just, you're not allowed to talk about this, talk about that, like certain subjects are off the table that you can't discuss. This is a form of stonewalling. So any kind of secrecy, and usually that is all around abuse, sexual assault, where you don't talk about those things and everyone just kind of knows, and it becomes this unspoken rule. In an abusive relationship, stonewalling can be an aggression, can be more overt. And they gave me the word haste. For the website, it's shutting down and shutting out. It's like, it can also be that silent treatment. That is unhealthy communication. That is not fair. and that is quite manipulative. So looking at these different tactics of communication that are coming from internal struggles that are then projected on to others. So if you are a receiver of this, it's taking a look at, what you do and don't deserve. If it's coming back at you, looking at it with a new lens. All right, so you could do this like a pick a card reading and see if a pile stands out to you of an energy. So you're going to look at the 4 knights. This is not an exhausted look at the knights, because when you're doing a reading, it's kind of looking at how all the cards and the energies play out. So you might hear different explanations from different readers, different books. Gonna just see what comes through. I was seeing the zombie tarot and an image in that. So this card was really standing out this morning in meditation. And the wands as a whole are that fire, that passion. And with the 3 pyramids here, there could be layers in the past. So this could be that, show me the 6 of Cups, could be that 6 of Cups, that some sort of cycle that's happening through lifetimes, right? So you feel that pull, that magnetic pull to someone, you feel their vibration, you could be getting information about them. Notice he's not charging in protected, but his eyes are there, so you can peer in, right? But for me, this Knight of Wands like raises their hand, like grab your attention, right? Raises their hand to get your connection, but it's only a partial, right? Not everything is there. Are they there for the long haul? Are they there for the journey? Or are they there for the passion? And we also have a whip here, right? So is this someone stirring you up for some fun, passion, sex, great, but not there for the long haul, okay? So in general, the knights move in quickly and swiftly, but a knight is different in that they're not sitting on a throne in solid ground. They're moving, they're still in transit. They're past the point of a page of apprenticeship. So have some information, some ability to communicate in a relationship, but is it the full package? They're just charging in. Let's see. All right, the Knight of Swords. So swords are about communication, they're about thought. And notice this quick energy coming in. Everything about this, and even the lines have this, like, there's not a softness to it by any means. So this could be that somebody who is blunt, could be more that manager energy. I'm getting a sense of like somebody who drink and they change, but not in a positive way. And also someone who isn't going to consider someone else's needs when they communicate and how they communicate. Like bulldozing over at all costs, without regard. So it could be someone who's coming in to get what they want, and rather than using that fire, using words. And again, this isn't an exhausted look at the knights, just felt drawn to share the Four Horsemen and to follow it up with this. Looking for a fight. So that defensive nature, someone always on guard to throw that fire back, to throw back, rather than internalize and pause and reflect and consider someone else. Anything else? Something about charge, like being in charge, charging, but charging with words. And look at the background. Like, what's that person's history? What is that person's history? And how they talk about people in the past is probably indicative of how they function within themselves, and probably how they'll function with you. All right, so the Knight of Cups has more of this steady softness to it. If you even notice the way the horse is depicted here, there's a little bit more softness. There's rounder edges, right? Your cups is your emotional body, right? There's been some talk of the wings there, but it seems like a steady trot in, right? So somebody who potentially grounded because they're not charging in, but they're offering that cup of love. It is that Ace of Cups is that offering. It is a possibility. Is it the same as a proposal? No, it's that initial box of chocolates and the roses, right? To get the ball rolling, and that it slowly builds the trust, builds the relationship, but connecting on an emotional level, but a calm and stable emotional level is what I'm getting from this card right now, which is different from what I have. There's one book that I've read that speaks to it a little bit differently, but again, depends on the context of the cards, the energies that the reader or you are picking up on. Now, the Nine of Cups in this card is, like, to me, someone who's all up in their head, right? So there could be this new emotion starting to kind of seep in, right? Waves of emotion seeping in and feeling that. So like a surfer catching that wave and feeling that, but then getting up in your head about it, right? So letting the head start to kind of mess with this rather than feeling into the heart space and feeling into what's happening. So it's a matter of either like shutting that down or seeing it through, the emotions that start to spark. So it's that calm energy is possible with a few breaths and understanding, but notice heart to head, that difference there. All right, and then we have the Knight of Hazards. So again, this is more of a steady energy. Your pentacles are in the material world, and this is more of a linear perspective. Someone who's going to build a firm foundation, think it all out. They're not going to come charging in with passion. They're not going to they're not just going to like jump on a whim and drive in with passion. Nor are they going to lead with their emotions. It's somebody who is strategic, right? And it's thinking about the seeds that they plant. Thinking like seeds go in the ground, it takes a long time before they sprout, much less to become trees, right? So really thinking of the long haul, writing it out. Now, there needs to be a balance. And the first thing when I flipped over this card, the moon, so there could be this, I'm gonna say like, there could be some control here because the moon and intuition is standing out. So being so strategic and methodical, they kind of miss. But also the spider is standing out, like it takes a long time for a spider to start to build their web, so it could move too slowly. It requires your patience. The Four of Pentacles, like the first time I flipped over this card, came to mind, and that's that holding. And notice that they're held to the steering wheel, like so fixed on the vision ahead that might be missing something in the present. This might be that energy of, I don't know why Scorpio is coming to mind, but that so fixed on the vision ahead, they're not looking at like, pause, let me give my partner a hug or see how my partner's day was, because they're so like fixed on this like slow moving structure building, not seeing the red light, green light, yellow light, seeing the signs in the connection to either pause, that caution, or that green light go. So it's like so planned. Guardrails are up, so there's like a guarded personality. Wonder like these cobwebs, like where they are at internally. So lack of movement. This is a very slow building, steady connection. And so if you are in this connection, this energy is coming through your communication, it is important to speak your needs. To speak your needs is very important in this connection. Make sure someone's not planning ahead for you, but also that, you know, you get what you need. And don't assume those signs are seen, because this person might feel like their hands are tied and not open to give to you in the way that you need. So they're fixed on the physical and might miss those intuitive nonverbal communication hits that that show up in the connection. But I don't think you'll find any aggression here either. But be mindful that you don't come forward aggressively so they don't feel in the hot seat and shut down on you. Because that slow, methodical planning can be a result of unhealthy patterns in the past. That shutting down of emotions can be a result of that unhealthy patterns in the past. Okay, so I do hope this served well on some level. A little bit different than what I normally do. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or email me. And I do hope, again, that this served well. Take what feels a fit. Setting up.